Alright, so in this video we're wanting to demonstrate step by step how to correctly configure two Ubiquiti devices in a point-to-point link and to have on an internal network in order to have internet access on the other side of the link. So what I've got for this demonstration is one MikroTik 962 router board and one NanoStation M5 on this side, and on the other side another NanoStation M5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the configuration and setup of the access points on this side, and then configure the station on that side, and then obviously connect the computer to the other side and make sure we've got internet access on the other side. For the initial test, I've just got the WAN cable coming into port 1, so there's internet access on port 1. I've got no DHCP server currently running on the MikroTik, so I can steadily assign addresses on the computer, allowing just for the config setup, but what I'll do towards the end of the video will enable DHCP to make sure it's flowing through via the WDS bridge, giving us internet access out the other side. I've got the router currently set on the 1 range 192.168.1.1, obviously with the Ubiquiti's default IP address is 1.20, which will, if I statically assign the computer, will allow me access into the device. Cool, let's start. Alright, so first off we're wanting to access the Ubiquiti device. The thing we want to start off by doing is allocating the correct IP address range to the computer. Obviously we know the default IP address of the Ubiquiti device is 1.20. Alternatively, you can use the Ubiquiti device discovery tool, which will bring it up right there. Obviously if I try go into it now, I won't be able to get into it because I haven't allocated a static IP address on the same range as the antenna. I'll do so by going into the Ethernet properties, into your TCP IP version 4, and giving it an address on the same range. I'm not going to be bothered about putting in a gateway or a DNS right now because we're just doing config. So if we apply that, and then go back to the device, we should theoretically be able to log into it. There we go. Standard HTTPS. Not private. It's very frustrating. Come on, cool. So obviously default default username and password is UBNT. Obviously select your country code, agree to the terms and conditions, and then log in. Obviously standard Ubiquiti web user interface. It has the latest firmware that's available today. I like generally starting to config from the system page and working backwards, just mainly so this password little pop-up stops coming up when you apply config and move on to the next tab. So the device name, you can call it whatever you want to. For the test we'll just call it test AP. Administrator username, obviously it's advisable to use something unique to you, but for now we'll just leave it in UBNT. Current password UBNT, we'll just make just put in the password for now, just so it starts popping up. Obviously you can select the time zone that you want. If you're wanting to use a startup date for whatever reason, you can put that in, as well as longitude and latitude. Change, obviously you can go to service page. If there's anything you want to do in your SSH, dynamic DNS, telnet, so on and so on. For this test we won't bother doing anything like that. Advanced, obviously your installer URIP control, obviously for the regulatory services that regulate your URIP outputs. Obviously they don't really like it if you disable that and up your output power, so for this test we'll just leave it in disabled. From here we'll just go through the wireless and then we'll go back to network. So we're going to make the access point an access point. Obviously we're going to enable transparent bridge mode, WDS, so it allows the DHCP to pass through if we do more hops further along. Otherwise, if it's only going to be this hop, you can leave it off. DFS, you're obviously wanting to leave on for obvious regulation. Frequency, you can either select the frequency you want or just do something obviously accordance to the country code that they allow, whichever frequency they allow you to use. For the test, we'll just do 5180. Obviously your RP will be dependent on, well, this current RP will be dependent on whether you're going whatever country code you've selected and whatever regulations with has been assigned to that country. So we'll just currently leave that on there. Obviously channel width, we're not going to be pushing huge amounts of bandwidth through here, so we'll just leave it at 20 megahertz. Obviously less interference for anything close by. Security, obviously we'll set that to WPA2. For this password, we'll just do password 123. Just for test purposes, we'll apply that. Now on network side, it's obviously going to be bridged out. My gateway is 1.1, which is my MikroTik 962 router. So for now we'll just make this one 1.2 with a gateway of 1.1. DNS, obviously we can just use Google. You can change that. Yeah, and we can apply that. And obviously we'll need to log in via the new IP address we assigned to the device. Unfortunately this process takes a bit of time. I'll have a lot of time, there we go. Cool, so we'll log into the device, we can see it's all set up. All of our current settings that we've got is all on there. Cool, so we'll disconnect from the current network that's set up, and then I will connect the PC to the station that we need to configure on the other side. So we'll just close that down. We've already statically assigned the address, so obviously you scan again, we'll know that it's still on the default address. So obviously got to repeat this exercise. Again, UBNT, set it to your country, agree to the terms. Alrighty, so again we'll just start on system. Test station, obviously we'll just leave it UBNT. Password, just to start date for whatever reason. Obviously we won't change anything else. Obviously I know that I'm wanting to give this an IP address, a statically fixed IP address of 1.3 because it's on the other side of the point-to-point link. So obviously router is 1.1, the access point is 1.2, and then the station will be 1.3. So obviously we'll sign at 1.3, obviously avoiding IP conflicts and so on and so on. Gateway is still going to be 1.1, just give it Google's DNS's. We'll apply that, and then right under wireless, it's obviously already comes standard in station mode, so we're going to select the SSID select, which is going to allow us to see what available devices are currently transmitting. Obviously we left the SSID as UBNT, So we're going to select that under the test AP. Obviously you can do a lock to AP. I don't recommend that, especially if your station is relatively far away or on another side of the city and the AP gets struck by lightning or needs to be replaced. You'll have to go back to the client's house and reconfigure it and connect it to the new access point, because it locks it via MAC address. So it's not advisable to do lock to AP. So you'll just go select, obviously leaving DFS in and everything like that, leaving your IP, and then just put the password, which was password 123. You're going to change, and then we will apply. Obviously we will not get any internet through, as we have statically assigned the address, but with no default gateway or anything like that. So once we establish connection with the access point, we'll be able to log into the MikroTik router, enable DHCP, and we'll be able to test DHCP going through as well as internet. Obviously this process takes time for the Ubiquiti antenna to reboot. There we go. Obviously for test purposes I've just used the SSID of the AP as Ubiquiti. Obviously it's advisable you change this to whatever you need. Obviously company based or whatever, you'll just obviously use whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Ubiquiti. Obviously it's advisable to change it as well. So you can see we have established connection. We should be able to ping the router on 1-1. Cool, looking good. We're getting a response from the router. I could ideally just statically assign a gateway and DNS, and we should get internet. Theoretically we should have internet. Yeah, so we're getting internet passing through. But for purposes of the test, for the DHCP to come through via the WDS bridge, we will just log into this router. We will just do a DHCP setup on the bridge. Obviously we don't want it to do that because we'll start handing out IP addresses and cause copy conflicts, so we'll just start it on 100 and we'll just finish it on 200. It'll hand out relative DNSs. 10 minutes is fine for release. So let's just go back to automatically obtaining an IP address, and then we should get given an IP address via the DHCP server. There we go, we've been given it. And then theoretically we'll be able to access the MikroTik on its IP address. We're in there. See if we can ping Google. Cool. So we're getting internet, and just do a speed test just to check. Obviously we've got this page. We're getting internet through the link. Brilliant. So that's pretty much it. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.